Konnichiwa. I've learned a new language. Welcome to the 7th C++ tutorial, and today we'll be looking at nested if statements. Last time we were looking at if statements. Right now we're going to look at the nested if statements. So let's get started. So we're going to write a program that will ask the user if they've graduated secondary school and if they have a degree, and it's going to respond appropriately. So let's start. We're going to work with two variables. Oh, not int, sorry, we'll be working with strings. So string graduate help and string degree. Yeah, two variables. I hope you remember what variables are. If not, go back to the previous tutorials. It's very important that you know what a variable is and what data types you can use. So let's start with questions for the user. Have you graduated your secondary level of education, of course. It's always good to be, the question should always be clear for the user. The question should always be clear for the user. So yeah, question should always be clear. So we provide our cin. Their response will be placed in graduate because we're talking about graduate, and that's the appropriate variable. We ask them another, no, we don't ask them another question, almost forgot. So we have a response, graduate. So let's start our if statements. Let's start testing. So we'll say if graduate is equal to yes, and this is where logical operators come in. If graduate is equal to yes, I'll quickly clarify logical operators for you. So if graduate is equal to yes, so if it's true they have graduated secondary level, what are we expected to do? Now here's the thing, and if we always have an else, right? So before we get to nesting, let's add this else here on line 16. We'll add the else belonging to this if, right? Belonging to this if. So this if has this else. So if it's true this person has graduated secondary level, what are we supposed to do? If this condition is true, then let's ask them. If that is true, that's when we're allowed to ask them to say do you have a degree? Yeah, because if they haven't graduated secondary level, what use is there to ask them if they have a degree or not? We know they don't have a degree. They're pretty much, you know, what's that? Zezes. Yeah, that's for grade 8s. Chinyonge for grade 9s. Form 10, Fobo, grade 10. Yeah, so we know that they have no chance to get a degree. So we see in to say degree. That's the appropriate variable because, you know, we've declared it here. Remember definition of declaration. Also don't forget initialization, you know, those usually pop up in some exams. So after we get the degree, if they have a degree or not, let's test, is that a yes or a no? So we're going to test degree. Is degree equal to yes? So has the user responded with a yes? So if the user has responded with a yes, they have a degree. What are we supposed to do? So this is an if statement. The first if statement is here. Then inside this if statement, we're having another if statement. And this if statement also needs an else. So we have an if statement inside another if statement. So let's come here. If the person is a graduate and the person has a degree, they say yes, they have a degree, what are we supposed to do? So let's give them a response. We're going to say great, you can be the manager of my company. Of course I don't have a company yet, you know, I'm having a YouTube channel, so crazy, right? So this will only respond great, you can be the manager of my company, if the person is a graduate and the person has a has a degree, that's when this response will come in. Else, what if the person is a graduate but the person doesn't have a degree? Then we come to this else here. What do we respond? We're going to say see out. You can be the paper boy in my office. These days, being the paper boy in an office, you need a degree for that, right? Office, whatever, is it decoration, is it, I don't know, I forgot, but you need a degree. But anyway, if you don't have a degree, you're a graduate, then you know how to read and you know how to arrange papers. It means if you are a graduate, you don't have a degree, then you can do what? Then you can be the paper boy. Else, what if you're not a graduate? What if you never graduated your secondary level? Then we come to this else here, because this else belongs to the first if. So we come to this else. What if this is wrong at the start? Then we're going to display to say see out graduate, and then come back for this awesome super duper interview. Yeah, that's what I would say if I was the interviewer. I would be very very chilled. People would like coming to my interviews to fail. So let's run this, and I'm going to explain after we run and test it. Yeah, have you graduated your secondary level of education? I'll say yes. Do you have a degree? I'll say yes, I have a degree. Then it says great, you can be the manager of my company. Let's try it again. Have you graduated? Let's go with yes. Do you have a degree? Let's go with no. Then it says you can be the paper boy in my office. See that? Then let's try with a straight on no. If we say no, it goes straight to say graduate and then come back for this awesome super duper interview. It doesn't even ask if you have a degree or not, because you haven't graduated your secondary school. There's no need for it to ask if you have a degree or not. That's just obvious. So let's get into the code and explain. So line 13, this is our first if in line 13. So it starts 13 and it ends at 23. You see that? So this is our if, and it has an else here. So the else starts immediately after the first if here in line 24. So if graduate is equal to yes, we're going to carry out whatever code is in this. And if this is false, then we're going to carry out what's in the else. So when I said no, I'm not a graduate, it just straight on came to the else and said graduate and come back later. So that's what it did. Now if this is true, then we're going to carry out the code that's inside the first if. Now if we go inside the first if, we have a question, do you have a degree, and a response. But in this first if, we have another if. So this is nested. We have an if statement. We have an if statement line 16 inside an if statement which is line 13. So we have an if inside an if. This is what they mean by being nested. So if this is true, we ask, do you have a degree? Yes. Then another if statement comes. Is the degree equal to yes? Does this person have a degree? Is the response yes? Then if this is true, we see out she can be the manager. If this is wrong, we come to this if statement. If this is wrong, we have an else for it, and this else is also in the what? In between the what? The first if. That's why we have this else, because it comes immediately after this if, which is inside the other if. So alright, this is all confusing. I hope you really replay this several times and see how I wrote the code and try to understand it. So this is an if statement inside an if statement. Yeah, I hope you get. So that's the response. So that's how it's practically going on. So you have it. You are a graduate. Yes. Do you have a degree? If this is false, then it says you can be the what? You can be the paper boy in my office. So I hope you're really paying attention to this. Yeah, so let's try. Let me show you what else you can do here in case you want to make it all the more fancier. So the other thing here that you can do, like to to make it fancier is sorry for that glitch, is let's run it. What if the person enters yes in capital? Boom, graduate, and then come back for this awesome super duper interview. But I've said I'm a graduate. Why should I graduate? I'm a graduate. You see, it's in capital what? It's in capital letters. So here it's only testing for small letters. So this is where the O comes in. So the logical operators, this is where they come in. So I can come here, add some space, and I can say if the answer is equal to small letter yes, then I can say O graduate is equal to a yes starting with a capital letter. You see, then I can again say O graduate is equal to a yes in all caps. See that? If I compile, so it's going to test, is graduate yes in small letters, is graduate yes with a capital Y, is graduate yes in all caps, and if any of this is true, it continues. If any of them is true, so is graduate this or that or that, so it's an O. As long as it's at one condition is satisfied, we continue with the program. So if I, sorry, let me compile and run, build and run, yeah, because we made changes, we can just run. So if I say yes in all caps, do you have a degree? We go in, you say that. If I say yes, capital Y only, it says do you have a degree? We continue with that, you say that. So that's how you can use the logical O here, and you can do it as well for the degree. Here on the degree part, you can specify to say small capital Y and all caps. So that's how you get to use the logic operators in this case as well. So hope you get this. This is really important. We really need to understand nested if statements, because nested if statements are going to work so much as we go on. For the next tutorial, I had a request to say write a program that calculates the time it takes for someone to get to you. Like it has to calculate, you know, distance over time. Like it has to request for the distance from the user, like somehow how Uber kind of works. So that's the next tutorial we're going to do, and after that we're going to continue with our usual schedule. And after we continue, we're going to look at for loops. Next we'll be looking at for loops, while loops, and do while loops. So hope I see you on the next upcoming tutorial. Remember to subscribe to this channel if it's helpful. Yeah, that's that now.